I'm Richard Noble and I'm 57. I'm a resident of Palm Springs, California. I actually grew up in California. I was adopted in 1965 to the Noble family, and my parents are corporate librarians. And I had a lot of high expectations of me growing up as a kid. Of course, I experienced bullying because I rather picked flowers in left field than chased the ball. So coming out was a little difficult. But you know, I eventually moved to Hollywood, where they had a gay center where I could find a voice, or find other people who had a voice, and sort of gather a community around me to be protected and to freely express who I am without being bullied or discriminated against. So it was a good move. I was a little young when I did it. I was 17, right out of high school. And unfortunately for me and the world community, HIV hit, and I was losing many friends from the ages of 18 on to AIDS, and it broke my heart. And a national organization called ACT UP, AIDS Coalition to Unleash Power, formed in both the East Coast and the West Coast, and so I joined them. And I learned how to organize and be an activist, and they literally taught me everything I know. And generation I really miss a lot. So when I moved to Palm Springs, again, it was a move to be with an LGBTQ community, and found a lot of acceptance and support, and to begin organizing here. My march, I was on a call one day and I said, I'm going to walk the rainbow flag across America. And of course I was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. King and Cesar Chavez. And I decided to just put everything in storage, get a rainbow flag. I did a gift registry on REI, and packages started showing up at my house: backpacks, tents, sleeping bags, supplies, food. And before you know it, I set March 12th of 2011 as my takeoff date from the Golden Gate Bridge, and sort of let the nation know, the LGBT Center of San Francisco. And a lawyer from New York got a hold of me, and he said, we have this idea with Get Equal to write a civil rights bill that would be all comprehensive in adding sexual orientation and gender identity into America's civil rights laws. And at first I pushed back a little bit. It seemed a little too much to do. After arguing back and forth, I finally conceded, and I said, okay, we'll build a coalition. I'll adopt what we called at that time the American Equality Bill. It's now called the Equality Act in Congress, but at the time when we first started the campaign, it was the American Equality Bill. And I went to West Hollywood and to the Board of Supervisors in San Francisco. I drafted out a resolution. The resolutions were written and passed in both West Hollywood and San Francisco. It was a litmus test to see if our idea was on point with the community, and it was a wonderful thing to see that happen. So, of course, I had put everything in storage. Now I'm living out of a backpack with a tent and sleeping bag, and I make my way to the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco on March 12th of 2011. I had it all wrapped up, but I unwrapped it at the north end of the Golden Gate Bridge, and I began a almost 3,000-mile walk that took 15 months across our country. Two things people asked me: where did you stay and how did people respond to you? And I stayed mainly out of a tent. I was a Boy Scout, but I was an older Scout at this time, and I was an adult man, and I was doing Boy Scout things to get me across the country. And it was remarkable. People are like, did you have any problems? And the answer to that is no, I didn't. There were, not like people think, did you get beat up? Did you get shot at? Did you get run over? While I went to sleep scared in my tent most nights of the 15-month walk across America, I just let the night play out, and I let my mind wander until I fell asleep. And I got up at dusk had breakfast, put the camp back together, and went out for another 15 miles. And you know, humans' average walk is 3 miles per hour. So I was taking my time, because when I went into cities, I was in my tent at night, texting with the lawyer in New York, writing the next resolution or proclamation to the city that's in front of us, and built this coalition. And Time I got across 11 states and 2 Indian reservations and landed in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, we had hundreds and hundreds of endorsements that we took to members of Congress, the White House, President Obama, and to the Human Rights Campaign. And people weren't quite ready for our message yet. They wanted to put a pause on it. So I came back from the boardroom at the Human Rights Campaign to Palm Springs, and I waited. And I got back to work and lost touch a little bit. Then the lawyer called me. He goes, "You're not going to believe what just happened." And he said that Representative David Cicilline of the 1st District of Rhode Island filed the Equality Act. And the language from the Equality Act was almost verbatim of the bill that we had written in my tent. And so the Equality Act was filed, and we did victory laps. It was my main goal was to get a civil rights bill to protect the LGBTQ community, and we accomplished that goal, but with a lot of work and a lot of investment from other people. So it's now 2023, and we're in a new Congress, and I'm holding my breath to get the bill filed in this new Congress. Every time there's a new Congress, you have to refile the bill. And the next part of the campaign is to continue to share the lives of all of us and to demand equality for every single person on the planet to live happy, joyous, and free.